When a toddler cries out for help, their brain begins rapidly logging data. In the 3 seconds following that distress, they are waiting to see if the world is a stable environment or a dangerous one. If a caregiver is staring at a phone screen, missing that critical window of connection, the child's nervous system registers a threat. Repeated over years, these missed responses physically wire the architecture of their developing brain. We often discuss the bond between a parent and child as a matter of simple affection. From a biological standpoint, however, attachment operates as a high-stakes survival mechanism. An infant relies entirely on adults to stay alive. In the 1960s, developmental psychologist Mary Ainsworth began observing how infants respond to stress in controlled laboratory settings. By watching how babies reacted when their mothers left a room and then returned, she proved that infant behaviors fall into predictable, observable categories. These observations revealed that a child's reaction to stress is rarely random. It is an organized strategy that predicts how they will navigate social pressure throughout their early development. We can map this process using a consistency loop. When a child has a secure attachment, they express a need. The caregiver responds appropriately, and the distress is resolved. The loop is completed. Because the child knows they are safe, something counterintuitive happens. They feel comfortable enough to physically turn away from their parent to explore their environment. The caregiver becomes a secure base. Absolute trust in a caregiver's availability is the prerequisite for autonomy. A child must know they can return before they walk away. When caregivers consistently dismiss, reject, or ignore a child's attempts to seek comfort, the loop breaks. The child learns that expressing a need is ineffective, causing them to retract their outward distress signals to avoid being ignored. As adults, people who have this avoidant wiring often prioritize extreme self-reliance. They learn to suppress their emotions and distance themselves when a relationship demands intimacy, because depending on others feels inherently unsafe. Another mutation happens when a caregiver's attention is wildly inconsistent, warm one moment but unavailable or frustrated the next. This creates a jagged, erratic loop. Never knowing which version of the parent they will encounter, the child becomes clingy. It is a calculated strategy to secure their fleeting attention. A child who distances themselves or clings to a parent has developed a highly logical response to their environment. These behaviors are precise adaptations to a loop that was never allowed to close. A third style emerges when a caregiver is unpredictable, frightening, or abusive. This leads to a disorganized attachment. This creates a biological paradox. An infant's survival instinct tells them to flee to their parent for safety when they are scared. But in this case, the parent is the source of the fear. Caught between the urge to approach and the instinct to run away, the child's behavior collapses. They might freeze, self-soothe, or show erratic movements because no viable strategy exists to survive the moment. Without a coherent way to cope, this disorganized wiring becomes a severe risk factor for chronic mental health issues and emotional regulation disorders in adulthood. Early environments do not seal our fate forever. Decades of clinical research show that insecure attachments can be actively repaired and rewired through consistent interactions. Repair is often enacted through the circle of security. The top arc represents the caregiver supporting the child's freedom to explore and grow independently. The bottom arc represents the child's return. When overwhelmed, the caregiver provides a safe haven, protecting them and helping regulate emotions. Interventions like parent-child interaction therapy use this model to train caregivers. They learn to replace erratic patterns with predictable, intentional communication, proving to the child that they are finally safe. Maintaining this balance as a safe haven and a secure base changes the child's internal expectations. Over time, predictable care replaces a sense of danger with a stable foundation